Alright everybody, welcome to Cloud9 versus Team YL. This is actually a match played in the Gold League, Gold Heroes League in China. We have a clean feed from the Chinese. Thankfully I got a license to actually cast all these games. We have a feed from them, but we do not have any in-game sound, so you will within the game then have to rely on my commentary and nothing else. We're gonna of course put that video on, and I'm gonna try to cast as many of the Cloud9 games in the future too. Bans is super fast here. I mean, we have a ban on ETC and we see the ban on Tacita. Now, ETC is being used these days very often together with Uther for the Divine Shield, so that they try to get that combo off. And Tacita is, especially when it comes to the Chinese server, very popular as one of the supports. Usually they play him together with a dedicated healer then as well, and he can be super powerful. And Cloud9 had the first pick. So the drafting, of course, in China is a little bit different. We have already the Muradin first. I've been talking a bit about Muradin first as a pick. Personally, I'm not really the biggest fan, but there's a couple of teams out there, and Cloud9 is one of them, that really value Muradin highly enough to go for that particular pick here. And it allows them to at least push some comps away from them. For example, Jaina, which has been first picked for Team YL, is oftentimes comboed with Muradin. And we have still that split between the two majors now, whereas on one hand, Jaina has been chosen by the Chinese team, and Cloud9 went straight into Khaldor. That Sylvanas that we are seeing here for Tomb of the Spider Queen is also a pretty powerful hero, not only for the map itself, but these days Sylvanas is actually she's very back in the meta. And it's one of the heroes that allows you, when you take a bit of map control, to push with that as well and just get like the web weavers a clear path so that they can pressure down these structures. With the bans that we're having here, it's like these guys are super fast. There's very little to analyze because they're just like dumpstering out the bans and the picks. So we have a Tyrael and a Zagara ban. And Zagara ban is really smart for Cloud9 because it means that they have one of the biggest pushing heroes, or one of the strongest pushing heroes in the game, and the denied counter push to Team YL. Team YL is counteracting that with the Leoric, which is also extremely popular on the Chinese server, even as a single single frontliner, single warrior. In this case, though, they combo it off with with Arthas, which can of course then use his Howling Blast to lock down a target and help Jaina out to get her damage in. But Leoric has decent wave clear, and that's something that they can utilize. Whereas Cloud9 goes for a pick on Tyrande, very late in the draft, by the way. She's usually a very early pick that we see, and we have also now Charism picked as a second support. They can even play the rigid damage style that we are seeing from teams like Team Liquid, which is also something that you can of course do, since in the last patch it got changed a lot, and now suddenly you have the opportunity to really just like get more damage out of Charism, playing more like a melee assassin. And one of the biggest advantages that he has over other melee assassins is that he can rely on Relentless on level 13, and therefore it's a little bit harder to lock him then down later on. But the setup that we're seeing here is still extremely powerful. We have with Reyna, that was the last pick on the side of Team YL. It happened really fast, so you might not have even seen it on screen. But Reyna is also a pretty good choice here because he can be played with Seasoned Marksman, and this is of course the best map when it comes to Seasoned Marksman stacking, since on Tomb of the Spider Queen the lanes are very close together, and normally in the early game you see teams roam with 4 heroes between 2 lanes and park like their 5th hero on the bottom lane and try to just like push that in. When we're talking about Cloud9, they could do something similar. When they look at Tyrande, they could just like simply say, okay, we're playing her with the Seasoned Marksman on level 1, go into Searing Arrows or into Focused Attack on the next level, on level 4, and take it from there. So they have a couple of options of how exactly they can play it here. On other maps like Cursed Hollow, especially a build when you try and focus on your owls is very, very popular because it also gives you a lot of healing power, but also like damage then later on in the game, of course. But with the setup that they have, they can do it quite a bit. And picking Tyrande also made sure that the opponent couldn't get her and therefore not snipe heroes even more. So the game is starting. It is the first game in a best of 3 series. Once again, I want to highlight that we do not have any in-game sound because we're relying on the video feed from the Chinese. Thanks very much again to NeoTV for providing me with all of that. Caffeine is already trolling around a little bit, trying to jump the gate here. And here we are, of course, have our Cloud9 boys. Dunk Train on the Charism, Caffeine on Muradin, we have Fan on Sylvanas. K1 Pro is playing on Tyrande, and we're having I Dream then rounding things up with that Khaldor. Whereas on the other side, we have now Team YL. And as I already said, these guys are currently second in the group. So from the 3 games, the 3 best of 3s that they played, they won 2 of them. The only one that they lost was against the current like pole position holder. against 0. And right now, there's already the talents taken. So on the side of Cloud9, really important to note that they did not go into that seasoned marksman damage Tyrande, and they did not go into the damage Karazim. Both of them would have been options that they decided to not go for. So they will have a lot more sustain at this case. We're having for Muradin, of course, the Reveration taken. That is going to be incredibly powerful against Reyna later on in the game. So very cool talents here already on both sides. And immediately they attack against Cloud9, and they might even lose Muradin here. Caffeine has to jump back, gets taken down regardless. Not the start that they were hoping for. Cloud9 has played 3 best-of-3s as well, and so far they lost 2 of them. The only best-of-3 that they won was against Super Perfect Team, and Super Perfect Team lost every single best-of-3 that they played so far. They were only able to take a single map, and that was the map against Cloud9. So Cloud9 really has to step it up here today a bit, because if they don't, then there's a pretty high chance that they're not going to make it through the group stage and will be eliminated from the tournament already. They would have to rely heavily on the results of other teams and basically ace every single game after this one if they still want to stay in the series. So this is super important for them to win here right now. They also were very close, by the way, to win against Be Hard. The last map was so incredibly close, and Be Hard and Cloud9 both had a lot of options or chances to really win the game, but then in the end it was Be Hard that took it, and therefore Cloud9 with another best-of-3 loss. But this is their chance, and they have been practicing a lot for this one. They go straight for the kill against, Leoric, but unfortunately Uther is there and is able to heal him out. When it comes to experience, like, we still see level 3, level 2 for both of the teams, so it's just nothing too fancy. We have a solid setup in general on the side of Cloud9. They will rely heavily on Kel'Thas on level 13, but since the scaling changes have been implemented, Kel'Thas can actually do a fair amount of damage early on. I once again want to highlight that a lot of this really bases on the strength of Sylvanas trying to push in with the Web Weavers. This is going to be incredibly powerful for them. They have a lot of sustain during these fights, and they're going to try to put that to some use. Whereas on the side of Team YL, we have Lockdown with the Howling Blast. Unfortunately, sometimes we will have to deal with these lags that you just saw here. It's just like the feed that we get from China. It's a long way to travel for all that data. And Karazim taken out here now too. And the level 4 talents coming in. So Cloud9 under a lot of pressure early on, and it is a combo that is trying to lock heroes down with a Howling Blast and then the Jaina damage. We see the talents taking Searing Arrows already on the side of Tyrande, so it is more of a damage focus that we're seeing now, even though there is no seasoned marksman on her. Rest of the talents, pretty much what you would expect here. Protective Shield for Karazim, the Netherwind for Kel'Thas. On level 1, I expect that it's Barb Shot that has been played here from Cloud9. It's the normal talent for the North American server right now. When you look at Europe, then the level 1 talent is usually like either Lost Soul on Sylvanas or With the Wind. But in this case, I suspect that we are having Barb Shot taken by Fan. We have, of course, at the same time now Cloud9 behind in experience, and that's not really a good place to start. They lost already 2 of their heroes. It's 2 kills against 0 at this point, and this is extremely tricky. Level 6 is going to hit very, very soon now for their opponents, and yeah, they are in trouble already. 27 of the gems have been turned in by Team YL, and Cloud9, they have still 22 that they can hand in, but they need to get someone close to the turning point, and so far YL has actually controlled the mid lane very well, and therefore also the 2 turn-in spots. They're doing incredibly well with that. We have Fan and everybody else playing the rotation game. What they of course try to do is also counteract the rotation of their opponent a bit and make sure that Reyna is just not able to farm season marksman stacked all game long, because then in the late game he's going to be an absolute beast, and they know that. So that's what they're currently trying to do here. Cloud9 currently is trying to turn their stats in, and there we have them, all right, with a turn-in attempt. And Fan is currently also active in the mid lane. Of course, level 7 is going to give him unstable poison, and he can push these waves even back a bit farther. Nice, well done here with the jump. Jumps back to the Haunting Wave. YL is moving in again. Apparently, the Chinese on the stream here forgot to put in the overlay. We don't see the teams at this point. I suppose that they will realize that eventually and put that in. Again, I have no control over the video in itself, and usually they have an overlay for the team, but as you can see to the left in blue, we have Cloud9, and to the right, it is of course Team YL. So I'm not quite sure why they didn't realize that yet, but I expect that to be put in any second now. Yeah, Revolution Overdrive as a talent, level 7 for Reyna. We have, of course, now also, I suppose that it could be Paralyzing Rage or the Ghastly Reach for Leoric. It's difficult to say since both of the talents are being used, especially when you're looking at the Chinese server. We have Unstable Poison for Fan on his Sylvanas. There's also the Fission Bomb. Muradin into the additional Thunderclaps thanks to the battle momentum. For the later fights, that's going to be important. Lunar Blaze for Tyrande. And of course, we're seeing the extra healing power here on the side of Karazim, who's going to try to do his job as much as he can. Once again, we have a lead in experience for the opponents. 1 gem is all that Team YL needs to get the first Web Weaver wave, and they already pushed through the bot lane. And that is actually something that shouldn't even have happened with the Sylvanas. It should have been the other way around. It should actually be Cloud9 at least being able to hold their own lane, but they are struggling here. And I mean, level 7 just hit for them now, so Unstable Poison wasn't really available. There's the overlay that we've been waiting for. All right, so now it's also a bit clear which team is starting on which side. But here comes the Web Weaver wave. They try to lock down Leoric. They get some damage in, but of course we see Leoric Wraith walking away from them. Cloud9 still with 30 gems. They were actually the ones who got the first Web Weavers, which is pretty incredible at this point, because we had YL with only 1 gem missing, but Cloud9 turned in first, and that is great for them. They need to push these lanes, and they need to use Sylvanas now as much as they can, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. They have the mid lane towers already destroyed. Oftentimes you see teams rotate from one lane to another, just going for the towers, but in this case it looks a bit like Cloud9 is attempting to get more out of it. No, they start the rotation, they actually test the waters a little bit and go for a fort and see if they can make something happen, realize it's not going to work, and immediately move down to the bot lane to get at least the next 2 towers to draw even inexperience with their opponents. And that's exactly what they're currently doing here. We have them even with a slight lead, but don't forget that we only have 1 last gem that has to be handed in after the Web Weavers are defeated for Team YL to get their Web Weaver wave too. So Cloud9 just trying to get the most out of this first Web Weaver wave. And they have a fair amount of gems again, and they are on 40 at this point. So that's something that they can now use too, and that would be pretty nice for them. At this point, we're seeing actually like the rotation again up to the top. CyPro is, or CK1 Pro is already like throwing out the owls right now. And of course, they're attempting to delay the turn, and they actually go for Arthas, and they might get the kill here. If they drop Arthas, that would be amazing for them. In comes Fan and takes him down, gets the last shot in. Well played, and now it's just like hunting season. They go straight for a potential kill against, well, Jaina, but unfortunately she gets away. Pretty well done. Very, very well done here on their side. We're having also up to the top lane right now an opportunity for them to maybe turn in again. They still have 50 gems that they could hand in. It's not quite enough, but it's getting close. As long as they can deny the turn into Team YL, it's going to be fine. Heroic abilities are in play. We've already seen that. Ring of Frost on Jaina, Divine Shield and Uther. We have the Army of the Dead for Arthas, and Leoric, as it's pretty normal in China, is going for the Entomb over the potential March of the Black King. Dream is captured though, and he won't be able to get away. Great play here from Jaina, making sure that he can't escape. Drops the Ring of Frost just in time. Karazim wasn't around for Divine Palm that he chose as the heroic ability, and at this point Cloud9 is going full sustain. I mean, they didn't even take 7-sided strike here. They went straight into Divine Palm, into Shadowstalk, so both of their supporters are trying to get a fair amount of heals out, even though we have a bit of a focus on Tyrande to also go for damage. Wailing Arrow, Phoenix, and Avatar Mirrodin is going to be extremely popular, sorry, not popular, but important later on for the team fights. If they get that Wailing Arrow in at a good time, they can make a lot happen here. What they're lacking a bit is decent lockdown. They have the stun on Mirrodin, and they also have the gravity lapse. Well, I guess they have some lockdown here. It's just nothing really where they can put a lot of slow in when we compare this to the skeleton swing, when we compare to Uther with the stun, to Jaina with all her frost spells, and then also of course Arthas himself. So the control during the fights, even though C9 has a couple of stuns, is definitely going to run in favor of Team YL. They have for that a very, very solid setup. Depends a little bit on what exactly is chosen as talents, but so far Sylvanas hasn't really taken anything that would help with that. They need to rely on their ability to use that silence and really drop a couple of targets, jump in with a Mirrodin, hit that follow-up stun by Tyrande, and then focus the target down. Kalthas needs to get that damage in after level 13, and that's one of the most important things right now for Cloud9. Get to level 13 and make sure that they can run this with Kalthas. After 16, he's going to have that availability of the Arcane Barrier that he can use, but it's super important for them to really get to that level. For now, Team YL is turning in again. They get 2 Web Weavers in the row. The first one already did significant damage, and the first fort in the game was lost to Cloud9. They lost it at the bot lane, and they lost towers in the middle and up at the top too. And now the second wave is moving in, and Team YL has once again taken the lead in experience. They're playing playing a very, very strong game here, and they will soon reach the level 13 talents, which is going to be absolutely crucial for them and going to be a devastating moment for Cloud9 if it happens when the Web Weavers are still pushing. And that's most likely going to be the case. Web Weavers in the mid lane and the top lane, those are the most dangerous right now as they go straight for the structures here, and the forts could still be dropped. And here comes YL. They go for it. Phoenix already used. Same time, we have them all going straight for it, and looks like they are going to lose out on another fort, and that's going to be level 13 for YL. And there we have it. Extra talent for them. They gain a level, and they now also start to push the top lane. Already, we have the double shot on the side of Reyna. They don't go into Giant Killer here. We see Uther with a bit more defense since he added the spell shield, and also, of course, the Relentless that we have for Arthurs. Great against the few stuns that we have available for Cloud9, and they push through the wall at the keep as well now. Nice kill here. Khaldor's down, and that was a great kill. The Auric, of course, preparing that with a very good entomb, and once again, Cloud9 is in trouble. Yeah, waiting for the level 13. That's why Sylvanas moved down to the bot lane, trying to soak some extra experience. They have a lot of gems. They secured most of them. They have a full turn-in if they can get to the turn-in spot, but they can't lose the keep here, and it is pressured hard. YL was trying to exploit this as much as they can. We have Icy Veins taken on 13 for Jaina. Now finally the 13's in play for Cloud9. They did on Tyrande not go for the Overflowing Light. Instead, it is Sprint. Overflowing Light give you a lot of sustain for your team, but of course they run a double support here, so they don't necessarily need that. Apparently a bit of a problem that has occurred, and one of the players asking for a pause. So, well, not quite sure what happened there. Looks like something with the mouse on the Chinese team was affected. But yeah. Problem for Cloud9 is definitely that they lost a lot of their structures already. They took so much structural damage that it's going to be very difficult for them to really recover from this. Keep in mind, of course, that they have the level 13 talents now, and Khaldor with the chain bomb can finally unfold that potential for damage that they really need here. And there's not a lot of smiling going on the side of Cloud9 right now. They really have to suck it up at this point because, guys, they need this best of 3. They really need it. If they lose here, then it's going to be very, very difficult for them to come back into the league, and they will have to rely on other teams to get certain results, and they themselves would have to stomp every single remaining team, and they still are up against a few of the very strong ones in their group. So right now, they have to make sure that they really, really get something done here. They won against Super Perfect Team, who are currently at the bottom of the rankings in Group B, and they just barely lost to Be Hard, but they lost to Be Hard. For Be Hard, it was a similar situation. They are very far down in the rankings of the group, so it's really important that they are able to make this happen right now. For the time being, we need Cloud9 to do something about this, and well, maybe with that level 13 talent, they can start to make that happen, because it is going to be quite important for them to start with a win in the map. It is still the map choice for Team YL, by the way, in case that you weren't around for the maps. Team YL was able to get the first map, and if that game ends with a loss, or either way, it's going to be the map choice for Cloud9 in the next game, and that's going to be important as well. So for now, it seems like the problem is going to be resolved. At least it looked for a second like it would be, but Team YL seems to have a few more issues than originally expected. Everybody on the side of Cloud9 is actually just ready to go. Just look at Fan. I mean, he's really just like staring at the screen. Not quite sure in which situation that pause was hit, but I don't really think that it was within a fight. Everybody is just like talking. Maybe there's a bit of an issue also happening with a voice. Not quite sure. Look to me actually like we would have only a bit of a mouse problem, but right now there's a lot of admins staring over the shoulder of the players up to the top of the screen, so maybe there's a bit of a bigger problem. That would, of course, be quite unfortunate, and that would force them to... I don't think they were going to see, like, any kind of, like, restart, but maybe he has to disconnect and reconnect to the game. Looks, though, that everybody is getting ready to start things off again. And already, of course, a bit of a discussion going on between the players here of what to do next here. But as far as I can remember from the way it got paused, they were all just, like, disengaging at the same time. So there shouldn't be any potential to get like a kill or make something work. For Cloud9, the situation is really that they are nearly lost the keep in the mid lane. It was in half health roughly, and they have 80 gems that they can turn in. So now they have to try and get a Web Weaver wave on their own. considering how far into the game we are now, they should at least be able to get a few kills against structures. They haven't still taken a single fort, and it's going to be super important for them to make that happen, since they are also behind in experience. I mean, they have the same talent right now, which is really going to be super important, but at this point, they need to make sure that they are able to at least get that, they need to get that level. They have to move in and take a few of the structures. The game has resumed, as you can see. 94 gems now in the hands of Cloud9, and they are going to try and go straight in for a kill, or for a turn in and then for a kill against the structures. But that's also what Team Royale knows, of course. They're going to attempt to make sure that this is not going to happen. Once again, we have everybody moving around here at the turn-in spot to the bottom of the map. And there's a jump from Caffeine, took a bit of damage, but he will of course be back to business in a second. Evasive fire for Fan on the 13 talent. We have the extra damage from Muradin, and at the same time, as I already highlighted earlier, it is a sprint for Tyrande, which is it's actually like very, very common for the North American server to go for sprint on level 13. They go again for Arthur's, and that might be the kill that they need. Great snipe here, but the Divine Shield of Uther is saving Arthur's, but they force him back, and that might be an opportunity to finally get that turn-in completed. Caffeine is zoning for the rest of the team. Turn-ins are nearly done, and yes, they are. That's going to be the Webweaver wave, but they need to save Dream. Dream is nearly dead. There's the Divine Palm super early, maybe a little bit too early. It gives him, of course, a couple of seconds where he can move away. And yep, that save was all right, but Dunk Train is down. Has no opportunity to dash in, and YL is chasing them. They're going to get K1 Pro as well. That's the double kill that they needed. And now the Webweaver wave is not going to do a thing. It might go through the mid lane because that fort is already nearly down. But still, this is a massive problem for them right now. They finally got that turn in, and then they lose 2 heroes immediately. They cannot push with a wave. And as we said before, a lot of the potential for pushing is really just resulting in them running a Sylvanas. And as long as there's 2 heroes, that Sylvanas won't be able to move to the front and disable these towers. Not even the fort in the mid lane got destroyed, and that didn't do anything for them right now. So they turned in with 55 gems, and they got nothing. They bought themselves a bit of time, but those 2 kills, YL brought themselves in a spectacular position thanks to that. Level 16 now, and Benediction, Stoneform have been chosen. We have the bullseye on Reyna, and there comes the Unyielding Despair. Great talents here on the side of Team YL. They have a huge lead right now, and Cloud9 is going to have to somehow win a fight. And it is just going to be so difficult for them to make that happen without the 16 talent. And there's going to be a turn-in. YL turns in, they get a Webweaver wave, and if they play this right... Oh my god, if Dunk Train dies here, that would be the beginning of the end, and he is dead. He can't dash away for some reason. He seemed to be in cooldown. No chance for him to get away in this moment, and now they are more than only in trouble. The Webweaver wave is going to push the mid lane hard as is, and if he just like goes in and tries to take that keep, that's a disaster for Cloud9. Cloud9 is getting wrecked in this game right now, and oh god, this is brutal. If YL overextends, then maybe Cloud9 can make a move here, but it's very likely that they're going to lose the fort or the keep in the mid lane at least, and they're most likely going to lose even more than that. YL is actually like just moving to the top and is just saying, hey guys, why would we even go for that keep? We can just like leave a few heroes here, we take the fort at the same time, and then we move in one that the Webweavers arrive. So they even manage to take the fort before they go for keep. They try to lock down Dream again. Caffeine moves in, but that Webweaver alone is already doing a fair amount of damage to the structures, and Caffeine has to jump out now too. It's a 5 versus 5 again, but in the meantime, these waves are still pushing. And Cloud9, they held the keep apparently. Well, they move in. There comes the commitment. Hyperion has already been used, and this keep is not gonna make it. Yes, Leoric, he moves in, and he can just like take this. He could actually even sacrifice himself, but for now he's just like trying to push Caffeine back. The keep is still alive. Team YL did not pursue this. I would have even sacrificed Leoric to get that keep, to be absolutely honest with you. With him cheating death and probably having a fair amount of stacks on his reanimation, he should have gone in and just like take it. That was the chance that they had to really take the first keep of the game. But now Cloud9, as they hit 16, might have a chance to come back into this. It's actually well played by them. Arcane Barrier is going to give Khaldor a lot of survivability. We're having the Cold Embrace for the extra snipe ability, and that is going to help the entire team. Sylvanas, of course, with the moves here. I suppose we are seeing the extra heals on 16 for Karazim. They could theoretically go for the Soothing Breeze, but I don't really think they are going for that. At the same time, though, we have also the rest of the talents taken in, super important ones at that. So right now, this is really the opportunity that they needed. And there's again Arthur's at the front, but Caffeine has to jump out on his Mirrodin. We have still everybody waiting around, 2-level lead nearly for YL, and this just basically translates in Cloud9 being on a clock now. They need to win a fight before level 20 is hit, and here comes Dream again being caught at the front. Divine Palm has been used, and he's back to business. Can he rush away from this? No, he cannot. Kelthas for the second or third time gets taken out, but they killed Reyna. It's a trade, one damage dealer for another, so maybe they can make something happen with that. It's actually working out in their favor thanks to the underdog bonus that they traded kills with the opponent, but they need a bit more than that. They cannot just simply rely on that to come back into this game now. Good stun here against Arthur's, but once again Dunk Train at the front in a bit of trouble. Caffeine jumps out, no heroic abilities left on the side of Cloud9, whereas we see for Team YL still Hyperion and the Divine Shield ready. They can use those. They go for the Auric and put a lot of damage on him, but Arthurs is moving in again with another Howling Blast. They're trying to lock down Dunk Train. He dashes away. Caffeine needs to jump back too, and we have Kelthas back in just a second. He has, of course, a bit of an advantage since they're on a lower level. His cooldown, or his death timer is a bit lower, but right now they really... Oh, here comes again the attempt to take down K1 Pro and Tyrande. Maybe Leoric is going to die finally here, but they don't get the kill in, and Caffeine cannot jump in to clap him to death. But at least they get the turn in, and that could potentially be... That could be a Web Weaver wave. They need a few more gems, but if they just rotate around and take one of the waves, then they will be able to get the next few gems turned in, and that's the Web Weaver wave that they have to like bank their hopes on, because we are seeing Team YL getting closer and closer to level 20. Cloud9, they either have to play a waiting game and sacrifice a keep and go for level 20 versus 20, or they just have to say, guys, fight now or never. And we have Caffeine already coming back. He's trying to deny the turn-ins at the top, whereas we have the rest of the team moving down to the bot lane. They're attempting to get that turn-in completed, and they need it. But here comes Caffeine. Oh, they have the turn-in again, and it is Team YL. Good zoning here on their part. No chance for Caffeine to actually go in and make that work. And at this point, as you can see, it is YL with another Web Weaver wave. And that's exactly what Cloud9 was trying to prevent here. Game number 1 in the best of 3 series here is not starting well for the American team. Caffeine is jumping in, good body blocks, but the stun is missing. And Uther is ready with the Divine Shield to help Arthas out. That would, of course, been an important kill here, because that would have taken a lot of the pushing power of the Web Weaver wave away, since YL could not have really committed to it. But now they are in a position where they can do exactly that. First Web Weaver is taken out, though. But as we all know, that keep in the mid lane was pretty much destroyed. So at this point, we're having an opportunity once again for Team YL to take maybe not only one key, but maybe a bit more than that. This one has no chance of survival. There's the level 20s now with a Hardened Shield on Arthur's, Bolt of the Storm on Jaina, Spectral Leech for Leoric, and I suppose we're going to see, Blink on Reyna. So a bit of safety here for him. Did not go into the Nexus Frenzy. They did go for Seasoned Marksman. No Giant Killer on their part for Reyna, but still no Nexus Frenzy, and that helps them. I mean, it's more difficult to drop him, but the damage output is not going to be so severe. The problem is that, actually we see Cloud9 still defending here at the bot lane. They take the Web Weavers down, so they lose one of their keeps. The rest is still alive, but they need to make sure that YL does not move in again. They're soaking experience wherever they can, and YL is saying, boys, we have the 20s, let's go for it. Shadowstalk used. Here comes the attempt to move in. Yeah, Dream has to be really careful here. If he gets killed again thanks to one of those Leoric tombs, then he is going to put his team in a very difficult spot. But they force YL back, and now they are committed to a level 20 versus 20. They need to get the experience. But until then, the map control is going to be in the hands for Team YL. Keep in mind that we still have a boss on the map that can be taken, right? That's something that none of the teams has tried to do just yet. And I think for Cloud9 it would have been completely impossible to attempt that. But we have YL in a situation where they can actually try to pull it off. And as I say, they move up to the top lane. We already have Reyna starting to commit to it. And that's now the question. Does Cloud9 try to go in and fight a fight 20 versus 20 and disrupt it? Or do they just accept that they are going to lose the keep at the top as well? They are starting their rotation. With a good Wailing Arrow, they can make that happen. They're starting to move in, but they're a bit late on it too. Caffeine is trying to hit that Stormbolt, and he does, but it's already too late. The boss has been taken, and this is going to be YL pushing the top lane. Whereas Cloud9 is still trying to get the experience here. They're actually scrambling at this point. They're starting to move down to the bot lane, trying to get another wave down. It's half level that they're missing out on, and we see the top lane already pushed by the boss. There could theoretically be, not quite. They don't really have the gem count, and that's good for Cloud9. YL cannot commit to a Web Weaver wave at this point. They need to burst some more waves down before that happens, and they don't really have what it takes. They need to move in at the top lane or the boss will be defeated. But there's the hype here in again. They start to commit to take down the structures. They are going through the wall. Dream again at the front, but this time it does nothing for YL. There's the attempt to burst him down, but he uses the arcane barrier and is already on his way back. So Dream staying alive. This time the entomb trap from Leoric, not successful. No kill against Cloud9, and they are still fighting. They take down the boss and they secure the keep, but both of their remaining keeps are extremely close to being destroyed, and they are waiting, of course, first of all, for the level 20 now, and that might bring them back into the game. They can still take this. It's going to be incredibly difficult. It's not going to be easy at all, but they can make it happen if they hit their 20s and win a team fight. And they really have to destroy. And now there's the 20s. That's the chance that they have right now. Hunter Swift has been taken on level 20 for Tyrande. Rewind for Muradin for the extra stuns. Finally, the Bolt of the Storm on the side of Khaldor so they can jump away. The Peaceful Repose on the side of Karazim. And he, of course, can really try and keep the team alive now. And we have Escape as well for Fan. I could have seen him actually going into the Deafening Arrow instead, but he apparently wants to make sure that he's not going to be taken out here. They played the waiting game, and so far it has worked out for them, but they are very, very close to losing this match. They need to win a fight, and they need to win it before those keeps drop. If all of the keeps drop, then they're going to be in even more trouble because all waves are going to push against them. They have great wave clear, don't get me wrong. They have a Kalthas and a Sylvanas there, but still, already the attempt. Oh, Dream is getting dumpstered by that Blizzard. He's very low. They are split already, and the turn-in attempt on the side of Team YL. Both of the teams are very close to complete a turn-in, but Cloud9 has the gems that they need, and YL does not. So they start to rotate again. Caffeine is going to try and turn in. Howling Blast already hitting. He goes in with another stun and tries to occupy Arthas for now. Here comes the turn-in attempt, but already interrupted. Cloud9 is trying. They are trying to turn in, but they don't get the chance just yet. Level 20 versus 21. We're 24 minutes into the game nearly. Look at Caffeine. Well done here. Rain has to use the Bolt of the Storm. Good zoning, and that is the Web Weaver wave. Now just don't die. At this point, they really have to make sure that they are not going to run into the same problem that they had before when they got the Web Weaver wave, and then suddenly they were flanked and two of their heroes died. This is a chance for them. This is a big chance. Web Weaver's only going to push back the waves. It's important for the top wave too, because we had a massive move by YL there, but the Web Weaver is going to defeat that wave eventually, but for now they're just like taking structures. They take structures, close the gap in experience. Doesn't really matter to the talents anymore. We have both of them already on the Storm talent, but it matters of course to the stat advantage. And here's the chance of C9 to maybe take a keep right now. They move into the mid lane, they take tower number 1, and they go straight for the second one. The keep is open. They have an opportunity. Arthas is thinking about flanking. He's sitting down at the bottom, and he's trying to come in from behind. Fan is there, and so is Dream, and Dream is going to be their priority target. As long as they can take Kalthas down, it's going to be fine for them. Arthas is still waiting. He's still waiting. Nobody's committing. The Web Weaver is down, and Arthas is moving in. They go for Sylvana. She blinks away, and here's immediately the ult on the side of Tyrande activated. But of course, once again, Cloud9 is turning around. They know they have to fight at some point, and they chose this moment. There's all the... Oh, Jaina nearly dying here to the chain bomb, but not really working out just yet. They go for Leoric, and they get the kill. Cloud9, they get the kill against Leoric. They have Sylvanas. They can disable that keep, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're moving in. They take this keep, and they are going to succeed. Great play here by them. And the Web Weavers at the bot lane are still pushing. Cloud9 with a chance to maybe come back into this right now. Really well done here. They can go through the wall at least, and maybe with 17 seconds missing on Leoric, they are able to burst down the keep as well. But Leoric is going to be back very, very soon. Here comes again Arthas moving in against Dream. Dream, it's that damage, but he turns around and drops another hit. Here comes Leoric, and Dream with the Arcane Barrier. The Arcane Barrier is active. He drops the Phoenix, goes into the back, gets healed by Tyrande and also by Karazim. They drop keep number 2. Cloud9 is ahead. Cloud9 took 2 keeps. They are ahead right now. They are playing a great game. They're coming back into this match. We are 26 minutes into game number 1 in the best of 3 series, and Cloud9 got destroyed in the early game. They got wrecked, but they always believe that they can come back, and that's that's exactly what they're showcasing right now. YL, of course, they know that all they have to do is turn in and drop them, but they lose Uther. He has redemption. And here comes once again good Stormball on the side of Caffeine. They're trying to get another Web Weaver wave. They have the gems. Cloud9 have the gems. The team that gets the next turn in is very, very likely to make this happen. 2 gems are missing on the side of YL. They can't interrupt it. The Web Weavers for the red team are going to descend, and this is going to be tricky. Web Weavers for the red team are descend. Oh, did Cloud9 turn in first? Oh my god, did they actually manage to turn in first? I have no idea which team is going to spawn those weapons. It's the red team. It was so close though. They had a Caffeine at the top lane apparently, but now they need to defend against this. The good thing for them is that most of these lanes are actually pushed out. In the mid lane, they're going for the Web Weaver right away. This one is not going to do anything. It's more about the top lane and the bot lane that are important right now. Why? Because there's 2 keeps, and these keeps are extremely low. They're super low. Reyna could move in with a Hyperion and drop it immediately, but he doesn't really have to. So at this point, we're having again the attempt, of course, to go for a team fight right now. Down to the bot lane, we're seeing the Web Weavers on the, just pushing this back, but this is going to be a very slow attempt. Their keyboard's already destroyed on this lane, but they can't get caught now. They can't get caught. They have to be incredibly careful. And once more, up to the top, there's already the Web Weaver, and it's nearly destroyed. Great play. Bursting this one away in the mid lane was important. The one in the bot lane should not be able to push in too hard since catapults are going up against him. But at the top lane, we still have a bit of damage. There is a Phoenix. He needs to use that Phoenix for the zoning. Web Weaver is down, but the rest of the team is still around, and YL is attempting to push this in. Level 22 versus 22. 28 minutes into the game here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And Cloud9, they have the chance to get a turn in and win this match. As I said before, this is such an important best of 3 for them. They need to take it, and they play a great game right now. The early game not working in their favor. Dream always caught out and taken apart, but now he has the chance to bolt away with his Bolt of the Storm, and he has the Arcane Barrier. All that he needs for survivability, and again Cloud9 is pushing in. Bottom wave has been defended, of course. The Web Weaver was destroyed by the catapults and the rest, and once again they are starting to move in. Over here up the top, nice attempt to lock down Arthas, but he has Relentless, and that's a problem for them right now. They should try to focus on one of the other heroes if they get the chance. Here comes again, Dunk Train needs to dash away, and he does. Gets out. Hyperion has been used already. Here comes the Phoenix, though, a huge commitment on the side of Team YL, and we also have now C9 moving in, but Dunk Train is low, gets locked down, has his Peaceful Repose on, and jumps away. Here comes the Ring of Frost. They're trying to go for the monkey. Moves away. Caffeine dies. No. Caffeine dies, and that it's a 5 versus 4, and is going to eliminate the keep at the top lane. But Arthas is also extremely low. So is Leoric at the front. YL, they can't move in for the kill. They can't. All that Cloud9 has to do now is wait for Mirrodin to come back, but it looks like they even try to chase. Everybody's low right now, and here comes again the Wraith Walk on Leoric. Blink forced on the side of Kel'Thas. They jump away here. They are trying to get a kill. They need to be careful because they're playing a 5 versus 4 at this point. Dream has already used his cooldown. There goes the kill against Reyna, and also another kill against maybe Jaina. Peaceful Repose has been activated. They go for Jaina. They might be able to get her. And there's Leoric also moving away. Arthas is really low. It's a 4 versus 4 at this point. Uther is going to be back in just a second, of course, thanks to his heroic, but they're still chasing. They got the kill in the 5 versus 4 situation, and they're moving in once again, trying to just lock someone down with Gravity Lapse. Dream is missing it, but we have Jaina turning around with all this AoE. Here's the turn-in attempt, and they should get this one. They get it, they get the turn-in attempt, and right now that's an opportunity for them to end the game. 30 seconds on Reyna. Dream moves back, he needs to mana up, so does Dungtrain. Guys, this is it, this is the chance. This is the chance that Cloud9 has to take this first game. This is the opportunity that they've been waiting for. We are 30 minutes into the match, 30 minutes into game number 1. Cloud9, they have a chance now with the Web Weavers to make it work. Only a keep at the top lane, and they will go for core here. Reyna is going to be back in 5 seconds. They will have to fight the 5 versus 5, but this is a massive move that they have right now. They move in the mid lane, in the bot lane. They go for the core now. The top lane is being pushed by the Web Weaver, of course, as well, but there is there's catapults against them on the top lane, so their Web Weaver should not be able to go through the keep. Down here, on the other hand, the fight is already starting. YL commits with a Hyperion. They're starting to go in. They don't have a Divine Shield right now. They don't have Divine Shield, and oh, there's the kill. Yes, they get the the kill against Leoric. Great play here. And they start to move in once again with a 5 versus 4. The core already under pressure, losing hit points. This is Cloud9 dropping everybody. They turn it around. They're gonna win this game. They take it. It's a 1-0 for Cloud9 against YL. Great play here by them. Amazing match. And then 1-0 lead in the best of 3 for the American team. Alright guys, game number 2. Cloud9, as I just said, they got dumpstered in game number 1 in the early game, and then they fought a comeback. It was worthy of a 6.5 out of 10 in my personal opinion. Not quite sure what you think about it. We have now game number 2 in the draft for Sky Temple has started. Cloud9 is in the lead in the best of 3 series after that amazing comeback on the last map, and right now we have the ban on ETC again. They don't like mosh pits, and let's see what Team YL is going to ban out. One of the hero, it is the ban against Muradin. Caffeine respect ban right there. Cloud9 with an early first pick now. And we have a couple of options here at this point. Kel'Thas, Jaina, very popular. They played with the Kel'Thas in the last game. They could use the same here again. But keep also that Tyrande in mind, which was picked very late in draft number 1, but is also on the Chinese server, basically on every single server. Definitely one of the high priority picks that we see. It always depends a bit, of course, on how exactly the draft is being thrown out there. But Cloud9 could prioritize one of the damage dealers at this point, which is a fair chance here for them. So I'm really excited for this one. I mean, Cloud9, as I said, they need to win this. They need to take it. They really need to make sure that they are able to get this one, because if they lose here, then they are more or less out of the tournament already. They would have to hope for opponents to get certain result. They would also have to like win every single one of their games, and it is incredibly difficult to continue if you actually like lose this series. But they're off to a good start. The game itself, game number 1, didn't really start in like good fashion, but they clawed their way back in and never gave up, which was the most important part here. Now they have an opportunity, and they start their draft. Let's see what's going to be. A Kel'Thas here would be pretty strong. A Tyrande, if you want to go for a snipe composition, is also a very solid hero. We have seen a lot of Uther first picks as well. If you're trying to play maybe a melee assassin later down the road that could help you with the Divine Shield. So it's really a playstyle decision at this point, what you're trying to go for. And with the first pick, you already reveal a little bit of what exactly your thoughts are here. Most of the teams, they go for the Tassadar right now. He was banned out in the game before. It's a very flexible pick, actually. We haven't seen Sonya, just to give you one example, in the last game, we could see her again, but a Tassadar is very flexible. They don't really commit to anything yet. It's a very oftentimes like a very highly valued support, and oftentimes played with another dedicated healer. Tassadar alone is super strong. On the other hand, he can give you, he's a utility support. He can give you a certain amount of shields. He can also use mental acuity and 4 for vision on the map. He has so many options of how you can play him. So Cloud9, they don't commit to anything just yet. They're just saying, all right, let's see what they do, react to that, and play the game. And then maybe we get a Sonya, maybe we get another melee assassin. Like, this is extremely flexible what they're currently doing here. And on the other hand, we have Team YL. They have the first combo that they can pick at this point. Again, Jaina is still out there. Kel'Thas is too. Those are the 2 heroes that are being taken the most on the Chinese server right now when it comes to damage. They're not going to commit to both of them, but I would be very surprised in that at least see one of them being taken. And then it's just the question, what do they combo that with? Are they going to go, for example, into an early Uther, or are we going to see that Tyrande being dropped here right now for the Chinese team? The last game didn't really go the way that they wanted to, and that has to gnaw at them quite a bit. They're currently second in the standings, by the way, in case you didn't know. After 3 matches played by every single team, they are second in the standings, and Cloud9 is currently tied with Bhard for place 4 or 5. So for now, this is really a game where probably YL expected to do a lot better and at least get the original, like the first victory in the best of 3 series. So this is going to become incredibly important. There's the Uther, as expected, as a pick. Now the question, it is Kel'Thas. They go for Kel'Thas instead of the Jaina. Uther, Kel'Thas it is, and Cloud9, they are very likely to pick up that Jaina, I'd say. There is also that Sonya, though. So Jaina, Sonya are heroes that they're probably thinking about right now. They could at this point already go into one of their frontliners. Could, for example, say, hey, guys, what exactly do we want to pick as our frontliner here? Do we try and pick something away from them? There's, of course, that Leoric to consider. A Reyna, very early commitment to Reyna. And the Leoric, all right. No Jaina, no Sonya, no Tyrande. But Leoric taken. Very solid hero. We see actually Cloud9 play this a lot. In the last game, it was picked away by Team YL. But we have Reyna, super early committed. And I mean, he can help you with a Hyperion to drop structures. So it's one of these things where you have a lot of pushing power when he uses his rogue ability. But of course, that leaves also very interesting heroes for the bans. Normally, we have teams on the North American and also on the, and actually on all of the servers, the Chinese server included. The games that we've seen so far, we had a pretty high focus on heroes like Tyrande and also Sonya. It's of course also a matter of like personal play style, how a team exactly wants to play the game and the map. But in this case, both of them are still around and you could ban them out here. It's actually kind of funny to see that a hero like Abathur, for example, was completely ignored thus far, because in most of the games that we've seen on Sky Temple in the Chinese tournament, Abathur has been banned out even, sometimes as a first ban here, because he can be very strong with that split soak experience. So as you can see, there's a lot of different heroes that you can still branch out on, where you can just like go straight for a pick. And there's that Jaina ban. Jaina being banned already. It's actually pretty interesting to see that Jaina is very highly valued on China still, whereas when you look at Europe and North America, she has fallen off quite a bit. It's more focused on Kalthas right now, whereas Jaina is not as popular anymore as she was before the scaling patch. But in China, Jaina is still very much so played, and as we could see in the last game, super early picked, sometimes even before Kalthas. This game though, Jaina is banned out, YL decided to go into Kalthas, and Cloud9 wanted with damage to head down the road of a Reyna that they use at this point. And they ban out the Tyrande. Now we have the double pick here. For Cloud9, we need a bit more damage, by the way. And we could, next to a melee assassin, which is still a good possibility, also maybe see something like a Falstad on this map, depending a bit on what YL plays. If they play with a very heavy double tank frontline, we could see another giant killer hero. But for now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We have YL first. And they need a frontliner. They need a frontliner, and a bit of damage would probably do them some good as well. So they need to think about what they try to take here. A hero that is very popular over there is also Valla. Valla is being played in the European scene, in the North American scene, in the Western scene in general, every now and then. She is making a bit of a comeback, but Valla and Sylvanas are now picks that YL could think about here right now. They have both very good options to how to engage into these fights. Sylvanas with the pushing power alone, then of course also the Wailing Arrow for the silence during the fights themselves. But in terms of lockdown, YL needs something. Valla would give them a bit more control over the temples when these fights happen, thanks to the composite arrow comboed off with a frost shot, so that you have a lot of AoE damage that you can drop in there. So those are a few things that they could try and use here. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how exactly they're going to run this, because the setup that they have is already very solid, but there's no real story or no real strategy here just yet. They got one of the best supports with the Divine Shield. They secured themselves one of the best damage dealers right now, Kalthas with the Chain Bombs, with the Phoenix, Flame Strike, and all that power that he gets, especially after level 13. But they didn't really start to go for any combos yet. And they go for the Tyrael and the Sonya. They get Sonya, so it's not Cloud9 that tries to get her. They had a chance earlier on. I've been talking about Sonya quite a bit. She can rely on those Tacit shields quite heavily, but with Divine Shield, YL said, okay, we're going to play her right now. We have that Tyrael as well. We can jump in with both of them, and then we can go and straight, yeah, just attempt to move in, use those shields, and turn down heroes. And for now, Cloud9 is actually like in a position where they really have to think about how they are going to counter this, because playing a Leoric as a solo tank is going to be a bit more difficult. They still need a dedicated healer, in my personal opinion. It could be once more that Charism that they played. Keep in mind that Brightwing is on this map in particular also a very solid option because of the split push experience. If they decide to go into a Charism, they still have to make that choice if they want to play Leoric solo. And with a Charism or any other healer, they can actually do that, since they have two supports. But it's going to be pretty difficult for him at the front line there then. So they will have to make sure that he stays alive as long as he can. The cool thing about Leoric is that he's going to be back in the fight after a few seconds. The bad thing is that if he dies, they have of course the problem that the entire back line is just open for destruction. So they need to think about how they're going to play this here. They could add even more damage, which we have seen a trend to. A lot of teams have, we have actually like seen, like there's the Charism. We have actually like seen all of the teams going straight into like single tanks again, but even like triple tank is still being played. So it's cool to see that diversity. And the Valla, as a result, also a hero that we've been talking about quite a bit during the draft here. So that's additional control. And it's also the potential that you could go into Giant Killer. Unlikely, but it's there. We have normally also an arrow build taken, just to be sure that you also know that on the Chinese server. When you look at the Western play, normally it's still that frost shot, that multi-shot focus, but in the Chinese scene, it's a huge focus still on going into an arrow build. Vala is one of the heroes that has so many viable builds that you can use. It just depends on what your personal preference is and what works best with your team. And it's going to be super interesting to see what Vala is going to choose here. The arrow build is going to give her a bit more sustain, whereas the multi-shot build is going to give her a bit more control after level 13 thanks to the slow that she can apply, and also of course the opportunity to just like push that AoE out into these fights on the temples. YL then again, with their last pick right now, I mean, there is a chance that they decide to go into another range damage dealer, and it is Sylvanas. We've been talking about her. Sylvanas is the weapon of choice. Of course, they can try to use that silence once again, and if they had a good one, that's all that they need to do here. Cloud9 is in the lead, and this is game number 2, everybody. Once again, if you haven't picked up on that just yet, we unfortunately don't have in-game sounds. I got the permission to cast all of these games, and I got a feed from the Chinese, but I do not have any in-game sounds, so you will have to make do with my voice in these games. But let's see what Cloud9 can do. I'm pretty happy at this point, of course. Like, if you remember that earlier shot when the pause happened, they looked actually very concerned. But right now we have actually like a situation where the spirits are high once again. So for now, we are seeing once more the Chinese team here. Yeah, well, they are not too happy with the loss of the last map, and who can blame them? But right now they have an opportunity to tie it up. So we'll have to see what they can do with the draft that they just went for. It's a very strong draft. I mean, they have 2 like bruiser type warriors at the front that they can that you can actually like just use to jump into the backline as well if you want to. You have the spear on Sonya and can just rush in. We've actually even seen heroic abilities like Leap and Judgment coming back a little bit. It's more so in certain compositions when you try to blow somebody up, but it has become a bit more popular. We just saw, I think, yesterday or the day before in the Chinese league here, a couple of Judgment plays. And Judgment and Wailing Arrow is something that the Korean scene also really likes to play here. It's a really cool thing if you want to blow up a target, but you commit, of course, a lot of cooldowns to it. And if you don't get that particular kill, then you find yourself in trouble. And that's something that you always have to remember here. So, game is about to start. We have map number 2, and, well, this is going to be, as I said before, several times important. Cloud9, they lost 2 out of their 3 best of 3s and are pretty much at the bottom of the ranking right now, just ahead of Super Perfect team, who got dumpstered on by every single team in the league. But at this point, they have a chance to really make a bit of headway in the standings and not really secure themselves a playoff spot just yet, but at least make sure that it's going to be a bit easier for them to claim that. To the right side, we have again Team YL. To the left, we are seeing, of course, as you could already tell, Cloud9. Talents, pretty much what is expected. We have a multi-shot build for Vala. No arrow build for Vala, going for a multi-shot here. And we don't see the extra damage against heroes on Tyrael with the Smite Talent level 1, but instead he goes for a more sustainable build, which makes perfect sense considering that him and Sonya are the only 2 tanks at the front line. So it's most likely going to be amplified healing for Tyrael on level 4. And that should be pretty solid one. Already the attempt to burst down the top lane. Cloud9 is starting to rotate in. Dream is actually attempting to save the tower with his shields, having a pretty tough time doing so. And at the same time, it looks like that trap is not going to kill anybody. Very nice move by YL. They did not get the kill yet, but they can just use Sylvanas to drop another Shadow Dagger, and then the tower should fall. So for now, very good start for them into the game, securing themselves a bit of extra experience. Well done. Haunting Wave has been used, and that is tower number 1 that falls in the game, whereas down to the mid lane, we're currently still seeing fan rotating between mid and top. We have, of course, the temple's going to be activated pretty soon. Dunk Train is already in position. And at the bot lane, Sonya is being attacked by Tacita and Leoric. Nothing too fancy just yet. Just testing the waters, getting a bit of lane pressure in. But of course, those next temples are going to reveal maybe if a team can take an early lead in the game here. Cloud9, with that single warrior that they use at the front line with Leoric, is in a position where they have to make sure that they keep him alive, because, well, Leoric is going to be back in a few seconds. He's great for all these purposes, but if they lose him, then they have nobody else to really protect the backline warriors, the backline assassins, and that's going to be a bit tricky. There's a lot of momentum, especially when we're talking about YL right now, since they have a Sonya together with the Kelthar. So once they start chasing, it's going to be very difficult for Cloud9 to move away. But it's still early in the game, and we have both of the temples activated, and well, both of the teams are securing their shots here. To the top lane, we see YL, and here in the middle, it's Dung Trainer on his Charism with the self-sustain that he has that just makes sure that they're getting their shots too. But already a rotation happening. Bot lane has been abandoned, and that means that we also have Tassadar now moving to the mid lane, soaking a bit more experience. Earlier level 4 here for YL, but not fast. There's the amplified healing as suspected. We're having pretty normal talents, Hardened Bones now taken. It is the extra vision on Tassadar with the mental acuity, and of course Arsenal here for Vala for extra pushing power. And Vala at the top lane is still holding those two heroes at bay. There was an attempt to push in a bit with Sylvanas, trying to just like push that wave in a bit more. Cloud9 with a slight experience lead, nothing too fancy. I mean, that balances out after a few seconds. But for now, it's definitely a better start than in the last game where they won in the end, but where originally they started losing heroes very early in the match. Once again, I want to highlight that I have no control over the screen. I can't look up any of the talents. I can't really do anything here. We are completely relying on the Chinese stream. Big shout out again, of course, to NeoTV, who allowed me to restream these games officially, which is pretty cool. But yeah, therefore we are completely relying on what we are seeing right now in the picture. So that's also why we don't have any game sound, by the way, just as a side note. We already have teams going straight again for those siege giants. The mercenary camps are being attacked into the top lane. We have experience soaked by Vala. It's a little bit more of a passive game compared to what we saw in Tomb of the Spider Queen, but both of them don't want to make any mistakes here. Cloud9, they know fully well that if they lose this best of 3 series, that they are in deep trouble. And right now, with that early lead in after the first game, they are in a position where they're saying like, all right, guys, let's play this safe. We are going to take this. Especially so, of course, since they are going to try to get their level 10s out first. It will give them a whole lot of opportunities right now. Personally, what I'm interested in is the heroic ability on the side of Leoric. Entomb is extremely popular on the Chinese server, and also the North American teams are playing with the Tomb a lot more than with the March of the Black King. In Europe, you see pretty much the exact opposite. The Entomb is rarely used, and instead it's the March of the Black King that dominates, and it's a very great talent if you're playing as the solo tank of your team, because it gives you a bit of additional sustain during these fights and can actually keep you alive. As Caffeine is the solo warrior here right now, he has the chance to go into March of the Black King over Entomb, and we'll have to see what he goes for. If he drops, of course, a couple of really nice Entombs on heroes like Kelthas, and they can move in with that Storm on Tassadar, with the damage on Vala and Reyna to drop a target real fast. So there's like advantages and disadvantages to both of these talents, and we are gonna have to find out, or we'll find out eventually what exactly he prefers in this case. For now, we have the teams moving down to the bot lane. The temple is activated, and Cloud9 has taken a few shots, moving away now though, but we don't have them fully committing to this yet. We have 3 heroes for the Chinese team at the bot lane. And Cloud9 is starting to just move back. Leoric had to mana up apparently, and we have still the top lane being attacked. That first fort at the top lane is actually down right now, but Cloud9 is still keeping up with experience. The problem is that they're losing now the towers at the bot lane as well, and they are starting to move into the mid lane instead, trying to push this a bit, but their rotation is not really going for the objective at all, which gives Team YL a slight lead now in experience. But we still have Vala to the top, and she is soaking an additional lane, so that really helps them at this point. But of course, level 10s are going to be scary. Cloud9 needs to make sure that they don't fall too far behind right now. Oh, and Tassadar! There's the attempt to take him down, already moving away. Well, Tyrael is a little bit too late to really make anything happen here, and Dung Train dashes away with Charism, as still the mid lane and the top lane are being pushed. And that is actually working out quite well for them. Unfortunately, we have a bit of a stream lag there. Usually they go away after a second, and here we go, back to business, with now Fan making sure that they might even get a tower kill out of this one. I mean, there's a fairly big wave, and one tower is already down, but we have, of course, Kelthas now moving in too. Mid lane is also a bit of an attack here. Oh, that's a lot of damage against Fan, but the tower is very low already. Bot lane is also pressured. Earlier level 10 for Cloud9. Job well done. Strafe, Hyperion have already been chosen for Vala and Reyna. And let's see what King Caffeine is going to go for. 7-sided strike in this game. No Divine Palm and the Force Barrier for Tassadar. No choice made yet for Leoric. hasn't chosen anything yet. We have, as already expected a little bit, that Judgment and Wailing Arrow. I've been talking earlier about it, how especially in the Korean scene, it's very popular to get a snipe. The only problem, as I said, is if you don't kill the target, then you have committed 2 of your heroic abilities and not really gotten anything out of it. That would have been a situation where Divine Palm would have been really nice, by the way. Like, Divine Palm on the side of Karazim would have been great to try and keep those heroes alive. Because now Arena and Vala will be in a bit of a pickle if they really get jumped by Tyrael. And let's not forget about Sonya, who can also use the opportunity to just, like, go in. We have still no oh, the kill against Dream again. Oh, yeah, that's not really working well for him. So Dream is down, and that's the first kill in the game, if I'm not mistaken. We have no talent committed to by King Caffeine just yet. Once again here, another camp stolen away, and that was a very unfortunate time to die, since we have 2 of the temples now activated. But Caffeine is doing Leoric things and is up at the top lane, just like pushing stuff. Like, don't mind me playing the big Lebowski here. Completely unimpressed what's going on the rest of the map, but the bot lane is now falling, and that's another fort that's eliminated. And of course, that means that these temples are going to hit pretty hard and are soon going to hit very important structures as well, namely, of course, the inner circle. Caffeine and Dunk Train are starting to take the top now, and still no heroic ability committed to by Caffeine. As I said, both of these choices can be very, very strong for them. It really depends on what they can do with it. The extra sustain for Leoric as the solo frontliner, or the attempt to take down heroes like Kalthas. And it's all about positioning at this point for Kalthas in particular. Dunk Train is trying to fight for their temple. Keep in mind we have the one at the bot lane also active. Here's once again the talents. We have Static Charge, by the way, on level 7 for Tassadar, so that gets a bit of extra damage out there. And on level 7, no Relentless Leader, anything. It's the Fight or Flight for Reyna. Also an important talent to take here. And there's, of course, options that you have. Most of the heroes that we see in the competitive scene right now have definitely more than one build. The fight already raging here for the temple, and both of them are really committing to it. YL will hit 13 a bit faster, potentially, but still, most of the shots have been claimed right now, and we are seeing them moving away. Here comes the attempt. Oh, they save Fan! What? They take Fan! Great play here. That was exactly the combo that I was talking about, and that is the problem if you go Judgment Wailing Arrow. If you don't kill the target, you are down 2 of your heroics. 7-sided strike wasn't even used by Dunk Train in this, and Vala also didn't use the strafe, so they still have 2 of their cooldowns up. This is exactly the problem that you have if you go Tyrael Sylvanas. It can be amazing if you get the kill. You can snipe heroes early on, but in this case, it turned out against Team YL. 13 talents, a bit faster for Cloud9. They take the bottom temple now too, and is this 13 versus 13? Again, YL is moving in. They're trying to get at least a few of these shots, but we have Caffeine now, and he's going straight for it. He committed by now already to his heroic ability. We have him with the March of the Black King. I'm liking it. And of course, again, the fight for the temple down here. Mystical Spear has been chosen for Sonya, giving her the additional mobility in these fights. She can now move in and move out at leisure. Dream, once again, a bit far up at the front, but is moving back, and Wraithwalk being used by Caffeine, who moves away since he has the bomb applied on Kalthas. Very well done here by YL. They push them back and try to secure a few of the shots, and of course Cloud9 does not have a well down here anymore. But they are nearly back to full health. Nice move by a Dream, moving away, shielding himself, eating the damage from Kalthas, and then they start to move in again. Heroic abilities are coming up once more. Judgment and Wailing Arrow are ready for YL, and Cloud9 with the strafe. Still no 7-sided strike used, and here comes the Gravity Lapse. They go again for Fan. He moves away. Tyrael jumped in, living bombs everywhere, and good zoning with a 7-sided strike for now. Leoric, on the other hand, is dead. Well, if you want one of the heroes to die, then it's definitely Leoric, because, well, he can be back thanks to his trade a bit faster than any other hero in this. So at this point, we have still very even talents, but no, they don't go for boss. Nah, not gonna happen. That would have been very, very risky, especially with that Leoric still being around. But it is a kill, and that is kill number 2 now on the side of Team YL. So that's going to... Dream... Dream is caught again. Like, he is really having some trouble in this series. Oh, and they take him. Can they take Dunk Train? No, they can't. Yeah, Dream is having some trouble in the series. In the last game, he was playing Kalthas, and he was actually like sniped quite often in these fights. And on this Tacita, he's a bit far out here for now. But, well, they lose him, and of course, that's turning the fight into a 4 versus 5 again. And Team YL is attempting to make the most out of it. They go straight in for the kills against the 2 towers, and this is probably one of the chances where they can maybe like head into 16 fast enough to dominate the next temple fight. And they should be able to do this because Cloud9 is currently not even on 15. It should take them quite some time to really hit the next level, and that's going to be to make it pretty difficult. But for now, we still, I mean, they clawed their way back into that last game, and that was an incredible series. So for now, there's nothing over here yet. I mean, not at all. We don't have a keep taken down, but of course, the objective on this map is working very different than what we've seen on map number 1, where we had 2 on the Spider Queen. For now, it's again K1 Pro and Fan. They're going for the camps up to the top. They could try and rotate in and claim one of these temples. It actually carries him at the bot lane. Dung Train, oh, there he is. We have Lost Soul, by the way, taken. Oh, Shrinkray also on Uther after Benediction. Nerves of Steel, the Stone Skin version of Sonya, has been committed to, and of course the Arcane Barrier. Hold your ground, is going to be important later on. Could theoretically like steal a boss or a camp. And top lane claimed by Caffeine. So Caffeine can actually like take maybe down that fort even. It looks like it's going to fall, but we already have keeps attacked by the temple at the bot lane. So YL is still in a very solid spot here. Caffeine is taking shot after shot, and that really helps him, whereas Reyna on the top lane is soaking the waves now. So there we have them with a level 16 talent now as well. And at the bot lane, Boss's attack. Dream is scouting it, but he is very low already. Dung Train jumps in, and YL abandons the boss. Boss gets leashed. We have now also very similar build, by the way, on the side of Cloud9's Reyna than we saw in the game before. Double-barreled on level 13 and the Bullseye on level 16. It's really popular on the Chinese server in general, whereas we are seeing in the Western scene still a bit of a different build there. But for now, also Prescience and, of course, the Dimensional Warp taken. That should give at least Dream a chance to get out of these fights a bit better. Here comes the commitment with Hyperion, but Caffeine is about to die, gets the protective shield and gets healed. So Dung Train saves him in the last second, but they're still being chased. And it's again Tacita they try to isolate. Dream is low. Caffeine moves in. Does he have his Wraith Walk though? He sacrifices himself for the team and makes sure that Tacita is surviving here. So Dream moves away. And Caffeine is actually doing a pretty smart move there. He knew that one of them would die eventually, and he wanted to prevent more people to die. So he moved in again and tried to just like Wraith Walk away a little bit. He knew that there was no chance of escaping. But with his trade, he is going to cheat death even more. And he will, of course, not spawn at the base, but in the middle of the fight. So that's a lot of time that they buy with a simple move like that. And it's an important one for sure. Once again, 7-sided strike being used. Caffeine is back in. Dung Train is taken down though, and so is Vala. Oh god, this is starting to look a bit bad for Team Cloud9. There's the kill against Caffeine. I don't even remember. Did we have a single hero on the side of Team YL die? Unfortunately, the overlay that we see from the Chinese does not show kills. Might have been a kill early on, but so far it looks like YL is just dominating this. This is getting a bit scary, to be honest. I mean, yes, Cloud9, they are ahead in the series, but they need, like, losing this wouldn't be good. Bot lane keep is down. Mid lane keep will fall. They can't prevent this from falling. It's just not going to happen. Heroes are coming back, but this is not a chance that YL will pass up upon. They at least had Tacita to the top lane, and he could make sure that they also put some pressure onto the final defense for Team YL. But the experience lead that we're seeing for Team YL is pretty significant. And that means that we're having a situation where they could hit level 20 once again first. So Cloud9 is once again faced with that decision. Do we fight now or do we wait for 20s versus 20s? The big difference with this map to the last one is that you have the objectives directly attacking the structures of the opponent's team. So if they don't fight and just wait out these 2 levels, they might miss out on another temple phase, and that would then drop at least the keep at the top lane. And they are going for a YOLO move. They're going for the boss right now. Let's see if they actually try to follow up with this, or if they move back now that they know that YL knows that they're there. And there is holy ground on Tyrael. Keep that in mind. I think it would be a mistake to go in for this. And they lose Caffeine too early. Here here comes Judgment and the kill against Hassada. He's too far out, doesn't use his abilities fast enough to dodge Judgment, and now it's a double kill and boss can be taken. I actually don't even understand why YL goes in for it. They should have taken the boss. I mean, they can end either way, I suppose. But oh, they took the boss. Sorry, they already captured it. I thought they still needed to take it down there, but it was apparently low enough. So they stole the boss, and now they can end the game. They could have ended it either way, but yeah, YL very solid. That was definitely their game. I mean, they were the superior team every second of the way and were able to take the opponents down here. So great play by them. They can finish with boss now, and that would be a miracle defense if Cloud9 is somehow holding this, but I just don't see it. 16 minutes in, level 20 talents now also ready for Team YL. They are going to tie this series. It's a 1-1, and we are going to see game number 3 deciding the fate of Cloud9 here at the Gold League. And the next game is going to start soon. Game number 3 is going to happen on Garden of Terror, and this is going to be an important map. It's the map choice of Cloud9, so it's the last map in the best of 3 series, and let's see if Cloud9 can pull this one off. It would be, of course, great if they can stay in the league a bit longer. That would be absolutely amazing for the competition here. But yeah, for now we have the bans starting off, and YL, they ban first. We had a massive commitment to Cloud9 to ban out heroes like, especially ETC during the entire match so far. They don't want to go up against an ETC, and apparently they also refuse to play with him. But at this point, let's see what YL is going to start with. They actually banned out a few of the damage dealers throughout the series. Hassada ban has also been committed to in the first game, which was of course Tomb of the Spider Queen, where the vision is incredibly important. But on this one in particular, you can ban that out as well. It's a hero that is very popular on the Chinese server. And just in general, it's really fun to see how different the meta is from server to server. When you compare Europe and North America, it's a little bit within the draft, but it's more so even in the talents. And then on the Chinese server, we see sometimes a completely different setup in lineups as we do in the Western world. So it's pretty cool to see that. And of course, for now, we have already our first ban, and it is Abathur. As I said before, this is a map where Vikings can be played, and they are very popular in China to play on a map like this in particular. So Abathur is banned out for more or less the very same reason, and there's the Viking ban as well. So both of them are banned out. You don't want your opponent to soak extra experience while these fights for seats are happening, and this is one of the main reasons why we're currently having this here in game. And it's a bit sad that we don't see the Vikings, but we have a first pick on the side of Team YL and Cloud9. They just want to make sure that there's no Viking play against them. They already knew that something like that might occur, so that's already shaking up the entire structure of how the teams are committed to picking and banning. Muradin picked first again, Cloud9. They can now go for a Kel'Thas, maybe with an Uther. We've seen that before. Kel'Thas and Jaina in this league are extremely popular. It's usually a split, one team going for Jaina, the other team committing to Kel'Thas. We had a bit of a focus on Kel'Thas so far, and in the last game, YL committed after a Muradin pick on the side of Cloud9 to Kel'Thas Uther, which is a very solid start into the draft, since you have an opportunity, of course, to use that Divine Shield for melee assassin or any other hero in the game. But there's also heroes like Tyrande to consider, which is extremely powerful and can be used here. She has been banned out in a lot of the matches or then taken, and she was actually very important to the victory of Cloud9 in game number 1. So they didn't pick her first back then, but it could still be something that they're already thinking about and that they might commit a bit earlier than they did in game number 1, in which they took down Team YL later in the game when, I think it was like 30 minutes in. I mean, it was an incredible long game and a really, really good one. Another hero that has also played a lot in the front line, there's the ETC. Nice, I like it. ETC and Tyrande. Okay, this is a cool start. This is actually like very European what they just started with. That has been a combo that is played in Europe a lot. You go either ETC and you go for the Tyrande, or you go ETC and you go Uther. And I suppose that right now, there's a very high chance that YL is either going to pick Uther or at least ban him out, because there's nothing worse than getting hit by an ETC that is supported by a Divine Shield. The Tyrande, on the other hand, there's the Uther pick already. Uther and Kel'Thas, the two heroes that Cloud9 didn't take, that Team YL committed to in their last draft, are immediately chosen for the Chinese team. And now we're going to the next bans. But the setup with Tyrande and ETC helps you a lot, because you can just like slide in, power slide with the ETC, and Tyrande follows it up with an additional stun. And I could even see YL commit to a Jaina ban here. I mean, there's a couple of heroes that you really have to think about. Sonya, for example, could be something that Cloud9 is going to ban out now, since they already had to deal with her in the last game. And I personally think that Sonya would really fit the lineup of YL very, very nicely, since they can go in with that Meridian at the front and just have Sonya at the side. They have the Divine Shield to keep them alive. So that would be very powerful. Wouldn't be surprised to see a ban on Sonya in this case. That being said, though, there's other heroes that are also quite powerful. I mean, let's talk Tyrael, for example. He can work very nicely against what Cloud9 is attempting here. YL, on the other hand, they have to kind of make sure, I could see it ban on Jaina, because Jaina can get a lot of damage out if ETC hits the Mosh Pit. I mean, you can commit to a Ring of Frost, you don't have to go Water Elemental, you can drop the Ring of Frost on the Mosh Pitted heroes, you drop the Blizzard and the Cone of Cold, like everything that you have, the entire arsenal, and that normally takes a hero down very, very fast, especially if Tyrande is having a hand in things and is using her trade to make that, to just like burst that damage even more. So there's definitely quite a lot that the teams can do in terms of what they ban out. Now, it's a Leoric ban, though, against YL. We could see Cloud9 going for Sonya. Like, that is definitely a chance. There's the Jaina ban, as expected, but Cloud9 banning out Leoric. And I really wonder if they commit now to a Sonya ban, or if they leave that hero open for Team YL, because that would be a very, very strong one. Cloud9, they need some range damage as well, but they could definitely go for Sonya next to ETC if they wanted to. It would be aggressive, but they can't do that. So we could see something like maybe a Reyna plus Sonya could be something that they're thinking about right now. Tassadar is another hero that we haven't seen yet. He has not been banned out, so that would be also solid. Tassadar Sonya could be very, very strong for them, actually. They have a couple of options of how they can draft from here on. But yeah, Tassadar would be good. There's the Sonya. I like it. I really like that they take it away. And the Sylvanas. All right, that's also a very good choice. But it was extremely important for them to take Sonya since they banned out Leoric. Because if they don't ban Sonya out right now, then Team YL is just going to dumpster them completely. If they get Uther, Muradin, Kel'Thas, Sonya, that's like a dream right there. And you can, of course, combo that with any other hero. But keep that Tassadar in mind. I mean, Tassadar is still around. So I could have even seen Cloud9 go into that Tassadar here instead of Sylvanas. Of course, then you give Sylvanas more or less to Team YL, which is an issue for sure. But at this point, and they could have gone again into a very similar comp to what they used in the last game and picked the Tyrael as well for Judgment into Wailing Arrow. So I suppose that was part of the thought process between Cloud9's pick here. But now YL have a Tassadar available to them that they can use, and they can still go into a second frontliner here, or just simply add a bit more damage to all of this. So I like what Cloud9 did here, but it's still a very tricky spot. This game, everything is on the line here. I mean, right now, you really need to make sure that you are taking it right here, that you are able to win this game, and it is going to be so important for both of the teams now. So let's see how exactly they're going to play this. We have, for now, the opportunity for YL, as I said. Tassadar is out there. They can go in. There he is. Tassadar chosen, and Dvala. Okay, solid for them. Solid for them. Single warrior at the front, Divine Shield, and also the Shield of Tassadar to keep him alive. And Cloud9, what's it going to be? Are they going to go for maybe... Do they play Tyrande solo? That's the biggest question. Tyrande solo heals, yes or no? Are they going to commit to a Reyna, for example? They could commit to so many different heroes right now. Falstad is mostly popular in the European scene. He could be played here too. I just don't see it happen. Cloud9 hasn't really shown a tendency to use the hero in the Chinese league just yet. At least not in the games that I've been able to watch. Although I have to admit that I haven't been able to cast all of their games. But right now, we have them maybe with that Reyna that they can use. There's not really a lot of jump potential for Team YL. They have that Muradin to go in. They have a bit of a CC chain with the Gravity Lapse and the stun on Uther. But there's not really a Judgment, Tyrael, and Illidan, or any kind of melee assassin that can go deep. So a Reyna can really help out you quite a bit. But they go into Morales. All right, a big map, and we could see some dropship action here by them. They played a Morales before, but they lost the game with her. That's something that I didn't really expect here to be chosen, but they really like the hero. They played Morales a couple of times, and let's see if they can actually play around the opponent with a good dropship action. That is going to be interesting. It's a risk. It's a really high risk that they're running right now. I feel there would have been way more solid picks that they could have gone for. They take a risk with this. Doesn't mean that it can't work, but this is going to be an interesting one. You could play a Tyrande really solo with the setup that they're having there, and then just simply decide to go for a few of the sustain talents on the heroes that you have. But if you're, of course, running that Sonya, you kind of want to have a bit more than only Tyrande. And with that Morales, if they could even go for the Stim Drone, I mean, to be completely fair. They could play very aggressive style here with the Stim Probe, could try and turn that Sonya just into an absolute monster. And I feel one of the main thought process that we have here behind the Morales is to keep her alive in those fights. The one thing that you have to think about here is also that there is very little that can really jump Morales if Morales positions herself well. There is, of course, a gravity lapse. There is that storm bolt, but as long as you stay behind your backline, there's nobody that can really jump you too hard. A problem that Morales has and had is survivability, and Blizzard buffed her a bit in that regard, but it's still, you don't have a panic button. So the problem for Morales is going to be positioning, positioning, positioning. That's really what she needs to take care of. And if they do, then they can use Morales in a very good way to keep these heroes alive and get a lot out of her. So this is not by any means a horrible pick. It's an unconventional one for sure, but it's a pick that can work out. Cloud9, it's a 1-1. The series is tight. It's game number 3. They committed to the cow. They have some beef, and now they also change their mounts again, and now they have a chance to take YL down. It's the game that matters. It's the third map, and it is so important at this point. We already have both of the teams getting ready. It's the map choice of Cloud9. It is Garden of Terror. They have a solid setup. They need to make sure, though, that they are in a position where they can really just keep Morales alive, and that she is able to give them the sustain that they need during these fights. Here's already the talents that have been picked. Morales actually not really committing to any talent just yet. Multi-shot build again for Vala. As I said, it's very popular to go into an arrow build on the Chinese server as well. But on this map, multi-shot makes perfect sense, of course. And we're seeing now also the shot of Fury taken when we're looking at a hero like Sonya. Very important talent here in general. I mean, if you go into the Shot of Fury, you have so many talents that you can take on her. Shot of Fury, Warpaint are super popular. Block is really popular on the North American server, and it's a great talent to take on her too when you're up against a lot of auto attack damage dealers in particular. But for now, we have a bit of a change there. We were talking about Lieutenant Morales on the other hand. We have currently the Prolonged Safeguard taken, if I've seen that correctly. Must have been it. And for now, the team's, of course, just trying to test the waters a bit. But already the top lane commitment. I mean, we have Sonya rotate down to the bot lane, where she will have to deal with Tacita, and up to the top lane, we have a tri-lane for both of the teams at this point. In the middle, Caffeine going up against Muradin. Candy Muradin once again. I can't really, stress how creepy I find this skill. Especially when you have a Lily on the other side of the team. Want to have some candy, girl? I don't know what Blizzard was thinking there. But yeah, Candy Muradin, I think he's creepy as hell. That's one of those skins that I wouldn't even take if somebody bought it for me. So for now we have, the lockdown attempt, but there's the heals. Look at Dunk Train there. This is, of course, one of the big things that you can get out of Morales. Just heal everybody up, make sure that you have to stay on lane, and the fan is currently attempting, and he drops the tower. Well played. I'm really liking that. So he takes the tower down. That is super important there. That they already get a bit of a lead, but they have to go for the seeds now, and they are already, yes, that could be the kill, and they get it. They get the kill against Uther. Very well done here. Very, very well done. Okay, so that was a good start. Pedo Muradin is nowhere to be seen. Actually, he's in the mid lane right now. And we're having Dunk Train in position, trying to help out K-Pro, trying to get, of course, a few more of the seeds. But that was an important kill, and they have level 4. Look at that experience lead that they have right now. We see at the top lane, Fan with his Sylvanas just still doing work here. I mean, that badass is dropping towers like Muradin drops candy. So that's something that they can definitely utilize right now. But we have still YL totally in this. I mean, this is just an early lead that you have. So let's see how exactly this is going to work out for Team Cloud9. I mean, they need to take this. We talked about their standing in the tournament, in the group stage. They need to make something happen here. And they try to just go in. Power slide on ETC. Their stuns are coming in as well. And Dunk Train is healing whoever he can. Nobody's going for him, by the way. So Morales can unfold the full healing potential so far. And Dunk Train is just shifting from hero to hero. But here comes once again. No! Tacita, he gets away. And Dunk Train is about to get dumpstered. Nope. He's escaping. And Pedo Muradin is dead. Oh, the kill against Tacita. What a start for Cloud9. What a start for Cloud9. Great play here. Really, really well done. That was very, very well played. They get 3 kills out of this already, and we're having now the rotations on the map. A lead in experience, a lead in also seeds, and Cloud9 for the first time in this best of 3 series are taking an early game lead. We already have them with the extra damage on Toranda, searing arrows, full commitment to the utility talents for Caffeine. He goes into the power slide talents, focused attack on Sonya. Great play here thus far. For Morales, we had on level 4 the upgraded ballistics, as you could see. So the grenade, the displacement grenade, it travels faster now, and also you have 33 more impact damage on it. Level 7 is going to be so close right now for Cloud9, but here comes the attack by YL. They go for Dunk Train, they jump Morales, exactly what you should do, and they get the kill. Great play by them. YL with a very good kill, and they definitely learned their lesson from the last fight. They jump for Morales immediately. Dunk Train is a bit too far out, and they completely take advantage of this situation. So he needs positioning is going to be so incredibly difficult for him. But Tyrande might be able to help out of the heals a bit. Level 7 talents are ready. Lunar Flare already taken for Tyrande. We're seeing the ferocious healing for Sonya for the extra heals. The cleanse taken on level 7 now for Morales. That's going to help both of the teams now on level 7. The searing attacks are taken for Vala, as you could just see a second ago. Really, really important to see how this is going to plan out at this point. And of course, when we're talking about ETC, he went on level 7 for Just Keep Rockin'. I don't think that he went for the Guitar Hero here. We can't, of course, double check, but it should be Just Keep Rockin', considering the situation and the lineups that we have the two teams here. So that you have his mini relentless that he has for 4 seconds. Once again, we're having the attack, and this time it is actually the attack against Tyrande, but she's being kept alive. Dunk Train with the heals. He shifts around again, and they are forcing the opponent back. YL is on the run. It's the fight for the seeds, and the first plant is actually going to be ready for Team Cloud9 in just a few. They go for Tacita. They don't get the kill, but Dunk Train, he dies. Oh, they kill out Uther, and now Tacita is falling as well. Or is he? Oh my god, Uther is dead, but Tacita survives, and so does Vala. ETC is dead, it's a trade, but they get control of the seats now, and they move in again. Level 7, static charge for Tacita, the extra damage. Also, Uther on the side of YL committed to cleanse. What a game already. Very kill heavy, very kill heavy. Both of these games go full out right now on kills, and we're having Dunk Train's fan and also iDream now starting to rotate again up to the top lane once again, where Sylvanas is trying to drop structures. Level 9 versus level 8, the teams are close. Dream in the mid lane trying to just get this wave down, and Fan with unstable poison on level 7, he just like blasts these waves away. And look at Vala, she had to move back. That's at least going to be Gate. If they can go for the well, that would be a very good start here, but there's a lot of heroes committing to it. K1 Pro already on the way now too, and Dunkrain keeping himself in the back as far as he can. They go for well, and they will get it. Great move. You need to take these wells down as fast as you can, but the wraparound from YL, they're starting to move in. Cloud9 stays too long. No, here's the heroic abilities, and they're using it immediately. And right now, this fight has already started with, well, at least for now, in the mid lane. Look at these heroic abilities, by the way. We see the Stim Drone indeed taken. No medivac action on this map. It's all about Sonya. We already have the plant in the mid lane just destroying stuff. Caffeine is on it, and they have such an early level 10. Look at the experience right now. They are going into level 11, and YL hasn't even reached the heroics yet. The top lane is being pressured too, and Fan is there the entire time. We have Vala and Uther trying to keep them at bay, but it's so incredibly difficult for YL to make that happen without the heroic abilities. This is Cloud9 maybe taking down Team YL. They're doing whatever they can. It's really early in the game, but it's looking good. And YL is second in the group at this point. They won 2 out of their 3 best of 3s and were only defeated by the number 1 Team 0. So that is going to be a chance for Cloud9 to really, really get a better position in this group, and they need this victory so much. Cloud9 with the attempt, I mean, they have nearly a 2-level lead at this point. We're seeing with the Mosh Pit, Wailing Arrow, we saw Shadowstalk. Of course, the 10s are now also in play for the opponent's team with the Stray Phoenix, the Force Wall, Divine Shield, and of course, Muradin, he's going straight into Avatar. For now, we have camps taken. Both of the teams looking for camps. There's nothing really to commit to. All of the key forts, except for the one at the bot lane, have been eliminated by C9. And they rotate in and they see Tacita, but they only push him back. And here comes the commitment right now. With Sylvanas, of course you're going to push. And they take that chance. They move to the bot lane. They drop another fort, and that's going to be even more experience for them. Great play. They go for the tower. Nice moves on the map. They use that camp that they already took at the bot lane to go in even deeper. And they go straight for the wave, blasted away, and up to the top lane. Kalthas and Vala are still there. They did not expect Cloud9 to commit this heavily, but they do. They move in. The TPs have already started. Kalthas and Vala are both back, but this could be level 13 any second right now. If they get tower number 2, there it is. Then extra talent is ready for Cloud9, and they are going to move back here. They dropped the wall, and that's all that they needed to do for now. We already have on the side, ETC on level 13 goes straight into the next power slide talent, and we're having also, when we're looking at Morales right now as a level 13 talent, it should be Couples Therapy. That should have been Couples Therapy. I didn't really get the perfect look at the color, but either Couples Therapy or Intensive Care. And level 13 is, of course, super important right now. And YL, they might be forced to fight here. Look at Sonya at the front. She's already starting to go in, but we have the stim drone not really employed just yet. So they didn't go for the stim drone here. Level 13 talent on the side of Caffeine, by the way. We saw him with a showstopper here. So he goes for the damage reduction now as well. Great talents overall. The mini relentless showstopper. A lot of survivability important here for him. And they go for Uther. Divine Shield has already been used, but once again, Caffeine is starting to get a bit low. Dunk Train is hiling Dream as much as he can. Stim drone has been committed to, and Dream has been going ham and pushed back YL. And this is, of course, now the time when we have again the seats on the map. Night has fallen. That extra talent is still giving Cloud9 an advantage, and they're using it as much as they can. They move in, and look at that. That plant is falling within seconds. That's going to be another plant ready for Cloud9, and they are very likely to move to the top lane and try to secure another set of seats and deny a plant to their opponent. That's going to be the really difficult part, but at least they can secure themselves a surplus, and that's what they need to do right now. Level 14 versus level 12 and a half, and up at the top lane we see Cloud9. They steal the small camps away. 20 seats are still needed for the Chinese team, and Cloud9, they are going in. They are in position right now. It could be the 5 versus 5, but ETC is not with the team just yet. He's taking the plant, and they are moving on the map. Are they going to go for another set of seats up at the top and commit to this attack here at the Garden Terror, or are they just going to move through the mid lane and try to drop a few more structures? They're attempting to do both. No, they're not. We have Caffeine moving up to the top again, and here he comes. They're trying to go for the seats, and they are already up it. Once again, the Polymorph seed deployed here. Everybody just like circling around the Garden Terror. Caffeine is trying to wait. He's not committing too much. He knows that he could be bursted down here, and he wants to prevent this. Here comes again the Polymorph seed. They are using Shadow Stalk now as well, and Caffeine is trying to zone. He's zoning as much as he can, and Dream, with the help of Dunk Train, is committing to the plant. They're taking seed after seed away from the opponent, and now they're going in. First of all, level 13 talents for both of the teams. No kills just yet. Caffeine at the front line. Polymorph seeds everywhere. Great silence. Silence was hitting by 3 heroes were hit by that, but Dream is already low, and Dunk Train still healing him out here. He's doing as much as he can here. Caffeine is eating damage now that he dropped out of the plant. They're going in again, but we saw YL, they got enough seats. They have enough seats to have a plan on their own right now, so that's going to be a bit tricky. Maybe a kill could change this around again. There's the commitment with another stun, but just look how low Muradin is. He's the only tank for YL. The experience lead alone is great for Cloud9. Of course, Frostshot has been chosen as a level 13 talent. We have Prescience, the Shrink Ray on Uther for YL, and they have the Chain Bombs now finally. And Cloud9, they take the chances that they have. They moved in and took another keep. They knew that one of the heroes was missing, trying to get the plant, and therefore they had an opportunity to go into the mid lane and drop the fort, and that's what they did. They want level 16, and they want to have it as fast as they can. YL played a very solid move up at the top lane for the seeds, and they got them, and now they try to reap. Oh, that's the Polymorph! Great play here. Great stun by Muradin. Caffeine is taking damage, and he's taking a lot of it. Sylvanas is moving in, and YL is making them move. They played so well at the Upper Garden Terror and were able to get quite a few of those seeds. They got more than they needed, and now they're starting to go in against the mid lane, and this is a problem for Cloud9. They need to burst this down somehow. The keep is under pressure, and the storm balls are just raining down like hail on Dream. Dream at the front line, always trying to block those as well. Caffeine, he has the mosh pit still ready. He could go for it. Level 16 is ready for them now as well. And he went for the speed medal. Extra speed on their part. We have the True Shot aura for Tyrande. Extra damage for the team. Look at how aggressive they are playing this year. They have the Cold Embrace. They are going for the Nerves of Steel on Dream, of course. They need that. They need to have that on Sonya. And now they attempt to just like burst that plant down. Burst that plant and burst it fast. But it's only a level lead that they have at this point. Not more than that. System Shock, the talent on level 16 now for Morales. Displacement Grenade with the extra slow, so a lot of control out of it, and they go in for the plant again, and it looks like they at least can take it down. It's not going to drop any more structures, that's already for certain, but YL is very, very close when it comes to EXP. They are so close right now. They played this really well here, and they are starting to move up to the top lane. Sylvanas is missing. Fan was trying to commit to the bot lane and was pushing this back, getting experience for his team, but it's going to be a fight on even talents. Guys, YL is making really a nice comeback here. They were 2 levels behind, close to 2 levels, and now they are nearly on the same level. They are on the same talent already, and that's a chance for the Chinese team to really turn this around. Cloud9 has eliminated a lot of structures, and they are still ahead in this. They dropped every single fort, but this game is not over yet. One bad fight, and Cloud9 could be nearly eliminated out of the league. And here we have the 16 talents, of course. Arcane Barrier, Benediction. We are seeing a level 16 Stone Form for Muradin. And of course next to it the Dimensional Warp. A lot of sustain now, and once again the attempted stun on the side of Muradin. Yeah, Pedo Muradin on his little Billy Mount is just sitting there waiting for Caffeine. Caffeine, the tank battle has not really started yet. Night has fallen, and this is the fight that they have to take at some point. But we see down to the bot lane Sonya. So all that Cloud9 can do here is buy some time and steal some seats, and that's exactly what they're doing. Caffeine is stealing seats away, and Sonya is committing to the bot lane. It's just like taking one camp after another. Stole the first one, goes for the second one. And up here at the top, just to make that perfectly clear, this is not 100%, this is not 100 seats. You can't get a plant just out of this. YL is not going to get a plant here. They are close, but they're not going to make that work. There we go. 91, all that they got, and they move down to the bot lane, but all of the seats have already been chosen, and that is a plant on the side of Cloud9. But they have to survive now. They need to survive until they have that plant ready, and of course YL is trying to fight now. They know exactly what's going to happen when this plant happens. It's going to mean keep at least one, so they need a kill, and they need it now, and they're trying to go for it. Caffeine is already in a little bit of trouble. He goes for the spot. Where's that mosh pit? He doesn't commit to it just yet. They go for the kill and get Kel'Thas. Kel'Thas is down, and here comes Cloud9. They move in. K1 Pro against Vala. Vala, oh my god, she gets away with a strafe, but we could see Muradin still fall. Dream is chasing everybody else at the bot lane. They're pressuring them so hard. I have no idea how Vala survived, but she did, and they can't get that second kill. They got the camp though, and Caffeine is already on the plan. How did Vala survive? Vala is back, and oh my god, Muradin just stunned K1 Pro, and therefore Vala was not dead. One more shot was all that they needed for the double kill, but they still got at least the one against Kel'Thas. Now they push in the mid lane. They have Sylvanas. Sylvanas plus plant equals dead structures, and that's what they're currently trying to do here. They have a level lead. Cloud9 is on the move. Cloud9 is on the move, is starting to go in. They still have 2 of the heroics off cooldown. Bot lane is pushing. Kel'Thas takes care of it. He's back to business. It's a 5 versus 5, and now the plan is starting to move down to the bot lane. They're splitting their team. They're playing 4 heroes in the mid lane, putting pressure on the keep and down to the bot lane. We're seeing a very similar move by the plan, and that's already the first few points, damage points against the keep and Caffeine. He is going to try and go for it. There's already Kel'Thas and Vala in the mid lane, though everybody else is dancing around. They're splitting Sylvanas and the plant at this point and try to force YL to commit with 4 heroes to the defense up in the middle. And Caffeine is pushing the bot lane, and he's pushing it hard. He's going for it as much as he can. Level 19, 41 more seconds, and here comes once again an attack. YL is moving out. They're trying to go for it. The Stim Drone is so far not applied. It's not off cooldown. 2 more seconds, and then it's going to be ready. But we have Tyrande committing to her heroic ability with the Shadowstalk. They're going straight in again. No kills just yet. The plan still at the bot lane. Keep is alive, but there's the pressure against Muradin, and the heals from Dunk Drain are insane. His positioning is so good in this game. He died once, but every single time they tried to jump him, Cloud9 was ready to defend him. The bot lane nearly down. The keep is about to fall. This one is going to fall, and it is dropping already. Can they even get more? They move move to the top right now. Once more, Sylvanas is just disabling the fort. The plant is moving around, but only 2 seconds left. Keep that mosh pit in mind. Stim drone is also ready. Mosh pit and Wailing Arrow. Everything is ready for them right now. They could try and drop another structure, and they're super close to level 20. If they take the keep here, it is going to be 20. In the next night, it's going to be so easy for YL to get a plant, but there it is. The keep is down. No level 20 just yet. They move back, but here comes the gravity lapse, and Caffeine, he just barely retreats. Of course, YL would have loved to take the kill here, but they move in again, and once that they reach the next talent, they will have the Storm talents, and there they are. That's the pressure on the map that they needed. They go in again for the camps. They're trying to just establish even more map presence, taking the Siege Giants. They can go straight for the Bruiser camp. We have them right now with the Caduceus Reactor on Morales and a double bolt of the Storm. Huntress Swiftness also chosen for Tyrande. Hardened Shield. The Nerves of Steel have been taken here. This is going to be super, super scary for YL. This is going to be really scary. Ignore Pain, of course, the version of Sonya as the Hardened Shield here. But again, they start to move in. They know that they have an opportunity, and they already know that back in the line we have the kill against Vala. They got it. Vala was isolated, and they get the kill. This is Cloud9's chance to end the game. This is Cloud9's chance for victory. They will get a plant, and now if they are able to deny seeds to the opponent, then this is over. But it's only 9 scenes that they need. Up at the top lane, there it is already. They're trying to go for Mirrodin. He moves away. Cloud9 is controlling the map so well at this point. It is a beautiful control of the seats that they have at this point. And down to the bot lane, we have just, Caffeine is just waiting around here. It's going to be a plant for sure. There's the plant. They get the seats. Caffeine is very much alone though. Caffeine is very alone. And of course, YL is going to try to get those final 9 seats that they need here. The top lane is nearly exhausted. Most of the seats are already taken. Down here at the bot lane though, the Garden Terror is still ready and everybody rotates in. Those level 20 talents, Cloud9 can fight. They can fight and they can fight right now. And if they go for it, then they will deny the seats to their opponent. But they can't lose. Oh, they can't lose, Fan! Blinks away with the last second. And there's the stun against 2. Caffeine moves in. Does he go for the mosh pit? Dance, baby, dance! He gets ultra, but he gets stunned, and once again they go in. Oh, it's ETC power. Moo, the cow is going for it. And once again we have Dream at the front line with a Sonya. A stun again against Hazard. They push everybody back. Nearly level 20. They could go and just steal those seats away. As long as there's no plant for YL, they are going to be completely fine. YL had to retreat. They're close to 20 though, but the plant at the bot lane, if they claim it, guys, it's going to be 2 plants in a row. It's going to be 2 plants in a row and no plan for YL. This is the chance that they have right now to finish the game. Caffeine is already on the plan. They move in at the bot lane. 9 seats is all that YL needs to get a counter plan, and Tassadar is trying to go for it. Tassadar moves in and they get it. But it's a double plant against them. It's a double plant against them. They get their 9 seats, but it's still 2 plants against 1, and Caffeine is starting to move in. And if they take a kill here, they go for Tassadar, and, oh god, they're not able to drop him. They're not able to drop him because of the Prescience. Gets activated and he gets away. Level 20s right now. The game is not over, but this is an amazing chance for Cloud9 to get the victory and make this work. The top lane, they want to play it safe. They don't commit to the core yet. They want to go for keep. And now we have the plans once more moving up against each other. It is going to be 2 plants for Cloud9 against 1 on the side of YL, and YL with the 20s is now pushing out. They're starting to push out, whereas Cloud9 is playing this very, very safe, and they are, of course, just making sure that there's not too much damage by YL. As long as they can wait these plants out, they can take plant number 2 and then push with that, and YL knows this. And this is why they are starting to really pressure. They have to be aggressive. The Chinese team, they know exactly what's at stake here. They're starting to pressure in up at the top lane right now, and we have once more Cloud9 taking a bit of a stand, but the fort is already down. Core, by the way, is starting to get pressured by both of the lanes. Look at that minimap. We have the bot lane and the mid lane. Both of them are pushing heavily against them. Caffeine needs to make sure that nobody's dying here. They need to move away, and they need to make sure that the lanes are pushing against YL, and that's the only thing. Buying time. You don't need to do anything more than that. Buy a bit of time, force YL back, committing to the defense, because the core is already being attacked. That shield is dropping. The shield on the core for YL is dropping, and Cloud9 is going to have another plant. If they play this safe and sound right now, they are going to be in a great spot, even if they would lose a keep here, which I think they can prevent if they play it right. Mid lane is still being pressured. on the side of the core here. Core is going to lose the shield eventually. Now we have no plant anymore for Cloud9, but they need to wait a little bit longer until they can activate the second one. Bot lane is still pushing so hard. Look at that core. Core is losing hit points. It's at 80%, and this is a massive problem for YL. Cloud9 does not have to commit to a plant fight. They do not have to commit to this. They can just wait it out. It's another 10 seconds. They are still trying to pressure them back a bit. They want to save their keep, and they're doing a decent job with it, but it's a huge risk as well. If they lose heroes here, it can turn around them, but it looks like YL is going to lose their plant. Core is at 82%, and the next wave is already starting to move in. Now the plant is down, but we still have YL committing to this. They're starting to move in. Dunk Drain pushes them back once again. Here's the Phoenix. They try to go for the keep. No, why is it lagging now? Chinese stream, for crying out loud. Go back. No, what? You gotta be kidding me, dude. Like, you gotta be joking. What? What's going on here? Why is that thing suddenly lagging? Okay, let's refresh that real quick, guys. Connection success. I fucking hope so. You gotta be joking. The entire time it's fine. Metadata processing completed. Process faster. There we go. Turnaround. They killed 3 of the heroes. They're starting to move into the mid lane right now. And Caffeine has the plan. They're going for it. They're about to win the game, guys. They're about to take it. It's 24 minutes in, and they go straight for the kill against the core. The plan has been defeated. 3 heroes are down, and they're going straight into the mid lane with a plan. The second one, Caffeine and the rest of the team, they're pulling this off. This is gonna be victory. They're still in it. They take it with a 2-1. The stream is lacking again, but who gives a shit? They did it. They did it. It's a 2-1. They take the game. The best of 3 series with a 2-1 victory, and they are able to stay in the league. Oh my god.
And that is it, everybody. GG and well played. The game's over, and therefore also the video for today here on Khaldor TV. We had another great Heroes of the Storm match, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Also hope that you enjoyed the commentary, of course. So thank you very much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to Khaldor TV yet, you should definitely hit that sub button as well. If you have some friends that like Heroes of the Storm, then definitely make sure that you show them the channel and also the video. There's a lot more where that came from. We're going to have like continuous content throughout the next few weeks with more Heroes of the Storm matches played, not only on the European server, but also on the North American server, in tournaments, in leagues, and more than that. So guys, once again, thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you had some fun. It was a pleasure casting for you. And I'm going to see you next time with even more videos here on the channel. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.